Let them lions roar until the elephants align, till all the tamers resign. Let them bodies float among the candid sound of a million beaten drums. I'll just keep waiting till it comes. Times my calculations, they ruin my peace of mind. Ran out of the patience of it when I was waiting. My legs got tired of standing still, so come sweep me off my feet. I'm yours. Let them lions roar until the elephants align, till all the tamers resign. Let the bodies float among the candid sound of a million beaten drums. Let them lions roar among the candid sound of a million beaten drums. I'll just keep waiting till it comes.
Welcome to Forever, man. Let's go. Come on. This forever. No surrender. Yeah. You know that this right here forever. Go. And there will be no surrender. Now allow me to reintroduce myself. They call me J.O. N to the easy E-N. Know that we undefeated. Y'all are beneath them speeches trying to air a grievance, but his lines are overhead. Better check the air for clearance. Call the tower. This is ours. Clear the heat. The air apparent. Really, I've never been better. Legacy. This is forever. All the more times I've been severed. I'm raising the bar. You can go ahead and measure. Think about time for a toast. Time that we welcome to go. Yo, when just leaving, I think about time that somebody go get them their coat. You know I got all that anthem. Come back in. What you call that add-on? Got anthems and bands with masters. Getting them right like my name was Miranda. I ain't bigger dead than alive. I ain't bigger dead than alive. One more time. This is forever. Remember the legend. He never gon' die. Yeah. I ain't bigger dead than alive. Bigger dead than alive. I ain't bigger dead than alive. Dead than alive. Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. A little bit of a last minute hurry up if you do to get things going here for the reschedule for Hire going up against Team Z. This is a week 2, technically day 1 scheduled matchup. My whole shift with me, Visions, and this is a big matchup here. Not so much for Hire because after their performance in the last couple of days, they have secured themselves into what will be the knockout bracket. Not really a hope for them to get into the top 2, but for Team Z, that hope is still alive here, Visions.
Yeah, a lot of games to play here for Team Z, I think, is really
Yeah.
the takeaway here. So this is an important win up against Hire to see if they are going to be able to maybe make it towards the top. And this is, I think, the squad that we had talked about saying we just do not expect them to really kind of have too big of an impact. I think it was a surprise they even got in towards the elite, and they've done as well as they have within their first 4 matches here. So there's a chance to be able to keep on climbing, maybe even see if they can kind of tie up against subliners, if they can go on a bit of a hot streak here for themselves.
It'd be huge because every single team that is in the top 4 right now has an opportunity not just to take the top 2 spots, which of course guarantees them into playoffs, but beyond that, they could find themselves on top of the table still. Like even Leicester isn't safe because they have games that they still need to play. So again, the reschedule, there's supposed to be a lot of games that are happening tonight. This, as far as we know, is the only one that is happening. I imagine that the large part of this weekend will be used to utilize some of those reschedules as players are still coming on with power and things of that nature from Texas. But like we mentioned, we've got Team Z at 3-1, a 10-5 map count going up against the 3-3 Hire Esports team. Again, this is the last matchup that Hire will play. And let's be honest, I mean, they came through yesterday. They had to play Mr. Mid-Maps. They needed to get a win to make sure that they weren't in a position to potentially face a tiebreaker relegation situation. And they did what they needed to do. And to be fair, they did it pretty damn convincingly.
They did. Their S&D, I think, was the one that was just like, holy cow, these guys are playing incredibly well. They had a 6-0 that came through on Moscow, and they were making, Mr. Midmap just look completely lost. It felt like making them over-rotate, playing a lot of mind games. So S&D looked to be good. At least that was for Moscow. That's not going to get towards our 5th map if we end up going the distance here. But they also look pretty good coming in towards their respawns as well. Exotic was the big takeaway. And I feel like he's been, one of the players on this roster that hasn't exactly been talked about. We know Exotic's been in the scene for a very, very long time. He's bounced around the professional scene. He was obviously through challengers all of last year during Modern Warfare, had some great placings, but hasn't been able to kind of get back up towards the spot that he once was. He's looking to do that here now. And when we looked at that respawn that we did get, I mean, he put up, I think it was close to about 40 kills for himself, and it was just the Exotic show. So I'm looking to see if he might be able to do this here for us again, Alan, because having someone like Exotic who's starting to turn up near the end of what is going in towards playoffs here is going to be a massive deal for the squad.
Taking a look at this best of 5 series, it's going to feel pretty familiar, I think, if you've watched anything for Team Z, starting off with the Crossroads hardpoint. And I'm actually just learning this as I'm looking through. They've only played Crossroads and Garrison in their hardpoint. We've talked a lot about what the kind of versatility and flexibility that certain teams showcase. That hasn't had to be an issue yet for Team Z. And then going into the Search and Destroy, we will get Raid. It'll be the first time that we'll have a chance to watch them play on Raid because, let's be honest, everything they've played Search and Destroy-wise so far has actually been on Miami. And then we were going to get a Garrison Control, which again is still a relatively new venue for Team Z. So honestly speaking, this is actually a really good map set, I think, overall for Hire, taking away some of the comfort picks that Team Z have, again, surprisingly led to their 3-1 overall record and only dropping 5 maps, 2 of which have been on the Control specifically, but that's a map game set that Hire has also not been necessarily great on. So those are our first 3 to kind of get things going. And what are your initial thoughts as far as, how we saw Hire play this Crossroads yesterday, a tight one to be fair, versus what we've kind of come to know from Z overall?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big factor and the big takeaways were we had Exotic who was playing extremely well. That's a massive factor when we're talking about the subs. Need to pick things up on a map like Crossroads where a lot of those engagements are close, kind of tight and close. So I'm kind of looking at the simple fact, are they going to be able to make sure that the submachine guns here on the other end aren't going to be able to kind of shut them down? When we're talking about Tay, it's pretty difficult to talk about Team Z without mentioning this kid's name right now. I mean, we talked a lot about him on the Diffuse there for ourselves, Alan. I think that he's an extremely young talent that's coming in towards the scene. So the takeaways is, try to make Tay uncomfortable as possible, making sure like you're just following some of these basics that they were doing yesterday, where they're channeling a lot of hills together. The teamwork looked like it was really on point. The coordination was there. They aren't just relying, on a lot of these solo plays to kind of come through here for themselves. So I think that's kind of the takeaways for as far as what's going to maybe be successful here for them again, especially after already having a strong performance. But I would say that Hire is probably comfortable going in towards this set, likely why, they didn't end up vetoing it out. It is something I think that is favoring a lot of these guys. Mayhem's been pretty strong with that X-Import up close. I think Zinx has also been picking up a tad bit as well, going in towards some of these later matches where I feel like he was really hit or miss at the beginning. So I think everything's kind of on the up and up here for Hire. It's just a matter of, how much practice have Team Z put in, because we haven't exactly got to see them a whole lot, and we're only taking away a couple of maps here and there. Sure, we're like, damn, these guys are looking pretty good, but they have a lot more matches to play, and they're trying to make it, of course, towards, the best placing they can get. So there's still a lot of pressure on these guys to make sure that they are performing and getting some wins here.
And honestly speaking, for Team Z, as far as what their remaining schedule looks like, if they do want to find themselves in a top 2 position, this is a must-win matchup, because you've got Western that you also need to play, and then Maki Maki. And I think a lot of our assumptions would lead us to believe that Team Z should be a favorite when it comes to playing up against Maki Maki, but maybe not the case versus Western. And I would say this much, just on the counter side of that coin, if Hire want to put themselves a little bit higher up in that knockout bracket seeding, you need to come out and have a good first map here, because Search and Destroy has been a little all over the place for them outside of the 6 that they were able to find yesterday versus Mr. Midmaps, and going over to what will be, again, this Search and Destroy series. You just don't want to be down 0-2 versus this very good Search and Destroy team of Team Z. So in my mind, this would need to be a must win. We're jumping on in. It's a Crossroads hard point. And well, again, I think we just got to start on off and see if Hire can continue the pressure and presence that they had from yesterday. And it looks like we are going to get a little bit of a restart here as Dens will take down Tay. So we'll have some more time to kind of discuss some of the X factors going into this first map.
I was going to say, Dens just taking out Tay, not even giving him a chance to battle up against that over towards Ice here. But yeah, chance to at least just reset here for a quick moment. And this is obviously interesting, because we talk about, as we get towards the end of the season and teams starting to figure each other out, having also, a couple extra days to be able to prep and maybe even watch over some of the VODs that have been on stream. It puts us in an interesting spot where you have to almost be looking to change up some of your strategies slightly. And I think this applies specifically within Search and Destroy. When we're talking about, going in towards these maps with an offensive kind of favor, what you're looking to try and do for yourself here, you have to be able to change things up. Your bomb carriers, you're looking to change up, for as far as, what exactly you're looking for as far as watching flank and things like this. These little positions and stuff like this kind of play a factor as you get deeper and deeper. And when you're watching over a VOD and you're seeing, hey man, like Zinx loves to play like back rock around this P3, P4 hill. If we can just double team him, get a flash nade in there, take him out, be able to flood in towards spawns, there's not too much help around him. Like, those are little things you can look to pick apart when you're actually studying over some of these VODs here. So I think this just gives these teams a little bit of an extra kind of oomph going in towards these matchups to prepare and see what exactly they're going to bring to the table here for us.
It's really funny that you bring that up, because I forget who it was that was talking about it. It was someone of the pro scene. Maybe it was like Brian or one of the coaches was talking about how at this stage of the game, everyone's focused on doing their own thing. I think it was actually an interview with Lottie that someone was saying something about this, where we're really not planning for other teams right now. We're just kind of trying to play our game. But I almost feel like that isn't necessarily 100% the case in the challenger scene, because these guys have been playing up against each other since the beginning of December. So there are like these little trends that you can kind of learn about your opponents as you come forward. And, and the other interesting thing, just talking on recent history competitively, as we're waiting for this lobby restart, I think a player has to restart their application. We have to remember that Hire didn't actually play as a full collective squad in the most recent Challengers Cup and Cup number 6. A couple of them played, a couple of them didn't, but Team Z did play. And we came into the elite qualifiers talking about how this team, we didn't expect them to make it to this point. I mean, the average placement for Dens, Jerd, and Zed sits right around 40. And then you've got Tay who comes into the mix. They need his pro points. And all of a sudden they finish top 8 after actually none of them had even seen top 16 outside of Tay until that point. So they finished top 8 in the last cup overall. They're still kind of riding a bit high when it comes to what they've been able to do in this kind of last second put together squad. I mean, that's really what it feels like. I mean, how much time could they have possibly put into practice between Cup 5 and then the Elite Qualifier 2? There was a difference of like only a couple of days between those two events. So it's just a bit strange to see them do so successful or do so well here with this recent success. But hey, it seems to be working, and who are we to criticize what the formula is providing so far?
I mean, sometimes it just takes like that one player to come in that's just refreshing, right? It's like things haven't been working, and then it just starts to click like magically almost, because someone's able to fill that void that was just missing and is a key towards success in Cold War. But we'll see exactly who's going to be the key here for both of these squads, ladies and gents. Team Z up against Team Hire. Last match for Hire to see what they got left here for us, and a chance to come out positive. Tay, he's responsible for watching over towards Ice, making sure there's not going to be control, but we will see Jerd on the point already opening up with a couple of kills.
Yeah, great stuff here. Again, what you're largely looking for with the Team Z setup is just hold off. Just try to get as much time as possible. Make sure HYXR doesn't flip spawns, but boy, have they. They get through almost immediately to do just that. Den's running out of ammunition will also fall. So it's a clean break through the bottom side of ice initially. Mayhem now onto the point with a couple of kills. Jerd puts his mantle right back on top of the tank, but tagged up low, has to back away. And now it's up to Team Z in these back 20 seconds to see what they're going to be able to do as far as flipping those spawns back around.
Would love to try and contest a bit of this time. Good help. HYXR just trying to play his life, has a bit of cover from Proto. And now they're just trying to zone out the map the best they possibly can. Make sure they hold on towards the spawns. And Zinx is doing exactly that. He's got the whole mid-map completely cut. So he can just tell his teammates, hey, focus on towards Catwalk. Focus on towards this P1 hill because I got the middle map cut. Mayhem is going to try and pick this up. Jerd, important battle here. Not going to win it. Nice snap from Mayhem. Proto also looking to try and challenge out. Will miss the player to his left, but finds Tay on the bridge. Dens, of course, gets the trade, but so far so good here for HYXR.
This is nice. Dens is actually making you really heads-up play. He gets the kill, doesn't necessarily aggress onto the hard point, but wants to try to put pressure on those spawns on the right side of the map, and it's successful enough to allow Jerd to sneak forward, and that results in a flip. So now 35 seconds to play for the hard point, with Team Z with a little bit of an advantage here, but Exotic, one of your players to watch, on 2 in a row this life, just kind of toggling over the top, and that will be enough for HYXR to get in and contest, but not for enough pressure to fully flip as of yet. But they do clear up the last couple of kills. It looks like HYXR will put themselves back into P2.
Yeah, this should be the last 15 seconds. Mayhem, he's the first one that's able to rotate over. He could catch Jerd by surprise, and while we will take some shots in, Jerd very wisely backs down, knowing that he could spawn in behind Old. They want to try and keep every player up, but Proto does manage to find that first one. A chance now to slide through. Mayhem finds the first one. Mayhem finds the second. Breaking open the hill. HYXR find themselves in. Now they're just going to see if they can try and flip towards the back. Dens can't hold on, and that is a beautiful play here from HYXR.
Yeah, it's looking really nice as far as how they're working around these transition points. Zed, though, looking for a shot punch would have been an impressive single life for him. Jerd has to pick up where he left off. Semtex into the corner, goes to the pistol, finds a lot of damage, but no kills to write home about. So now it's down to Team Z trying to flood from the top side of the street. Nice utility coming out from HYXR to try to hold off this hit for as long as possible. But the problem is they do allow Dens to sneak through, at least marginally, and he finds himself a couple of kills. They'll force the contest really for the spawns, not so much the hard point. Den's good for 3. Zinx try to keep him down underneath cover, and that will eventually lead to his eventual demise. So HYXR go right back into the hard point. They've secured the spawns, and they're up above 70 points.
It's got to be a bit frustrating there for Dens. I mean, he did everything he could, found 3, and his teammates simply were not winning gunfights. They couldn't cut through the middle of the map. The reinforcements being cut. Great job from HYXR. And they're going to find themselves up by quite a bit, just about a hill in their favor. Zinx the first one on towards the point. And I mean, look at the subs right now, Alan. They're just flying out in towards the middle of the map, controlling inside of weapons, inside of fire, not allowing anyone from Team Z to really get close. And I mean, this is a big 50 seconds to let HYXR get. So you need to try and at least get them off the time. And Zed might have found the window to do it, and he does.
This is the problem when it comes down to trying to play super aggressive in the middle of the map so late into the hard point. Again, you're saying so late, Shift, but it's still 35 seconds. But if you're not reading where the hit is coming from, and all of a sudden both of those players that are forward get taken down, there's nobody in your back line to try to supplant that potential push. So Team Z, they clean up the pieces, they flip the spawns, and now they're looking at a better part of 20 seconds here to really make this game interesting. So really good corrections here from Team Z. They clear their space, they push forward immediately, they flip the spawns, and with that, they're right back in this game.
That was so crucial for them. I mean, Tay with a big win in towards the back as well, just to make sure they do grab all of this time. And HYXR, I mean, they could have very likely taken this game right in towards their control, but they're still going to have themselves slight lead. Now we make our way towards P1. Den's responsible for doing exactly what we saw Zinx doing a little bit earlier on.
Yeah.
Thanks up Mayhem, but he will have all of his teammates working their way towards the point. Big gunfight here for Dens. He won't be able to win it. Proto deals with the cross. And while that happens, I mean, we see some of the members from Team Z start to press forward, but they'll all go down. Exotic finds 2, and that will also be the spawns in towards the back. Mayhem just ripping them to pieces. 16 and 11 has this XM4 Allen. He's just looking to keep them spawn trapped as long as possible.
This super smart play for Mayhem. Get 1 kill, back away. Get 1 kill, back away. Just make sure that as you're finding these eliminations, you're giving Team Z a little bit of space to continue to spawn where they don't want to spawn, which is back behind P4. So HYXR, lots of time here in this first hard point, a master class on how to really soak up as much time as possible on this first hard point, which largely stays pretty contested. Exotic 5 in a row, and he'll be the last member just kind of left alive to see how much more he can find through this scrap time of P1. Not taking super aggressive a challenge because Proto's found himself an M4 and he's helping over the top. And with that, HYXR have done what, 45 plus seconds on P1,
Yes.
and they're ready to go for P2. Brilliant rotation here for Higher.
And this is another spot for Team Zed where you need to find a fast break because this lead can get out of control very quickly. Tay looking for the challenge from Mayhem. Will be able to find him, but there's the quick trade. The AR is just working through this street beautifully. Jerd finds himself in towards the top control, has a chance to be able to break things open, finds one in the setup, snaps for Proto, but Proto was good for the trade. Couple players now closer towards the point, but Zink's able to add in some of the assistance up top, trying to control the ice over towards the left side of the map. Now cuts it where they can start to look for the rotation. I mean, Higher just turned up on that last hill and this one. No one really able to get towards the point. Maybe a chance to grab the last 15 as we see player 2 take them off the time, but I mean, they are now in a spot where they need to hold P3 and P4.
But you've already got Mayhem pressuring you with an AR, mind you, 21 and 15 as he will drop. But again, the pressure for Higher, I mean, I don't think we could really fully explain enough how good it's been. Dens is able to take down Proto, and Zed with a Semtex able to take down Exotic. So an opportunity here to kind of quell this push, but maybe only for a small time because Mayhem is just right back in. He does find himself one elimination, opens the door for Proto to work in for him to get a double kill, and it will be down to Tay, try to stay alive for as long as possible. He's able to once again put a stop to the resistance so far, and that might be enough for Team Zed to get themselves closer to breaking the 100-point mark.
It's a great start. First 30 seconds is good, but here comes Higher on the push, and they will be able to overwhelm everyone inside the point. Zed doesn't exactly wait, but does manage to find one on the spray. Can Higher get themselves in towards the back? The answer is yes.
Wow.
And worst case scenario, right? Team Zed a chance to be able to maybe chain this one in towards the next, but the spawns just simply have not been held very well for them. And we'll see Higher with a massive lead, up by just about 2 hard points here. Maybe a chance to be able to actually close things out going in towards this P4 hill.
It's looking pretty solid, but Team Zed does find a couple of kills and maybe try to push over and maybe contest the initial, but no, not going to happen. As soon as they try to make that push through, kill feed lights up orange for Higher. Over 200 points, just to the 98 of Team Zed. Hit going to come right through the top side of ammo in this fire building. Jerd good for one. Zed trying to cut across the block spawns, gets taken care of, but there is a hit coming from the cliff side. That's enough to start to influence these spawns, at least block them for now. Exotic staying alive, can't win the first gunfight that he has up front, which is Tay, and that should be enough to flip the spawns around. A good break here for Team Zed, but the problem is they still don't have anyone on the hard point.
Yeah, no one's soaking time. It's all going towards the game clock, and sure, Dens is cutting off a couple of players from getting there, as you have Tay doing the exact same thing, but they're finally going to get to it, but a good, 10, 15 seconds just, kind of goes to the game clock. No one picks that up, and the big problem for Team Zed has been actually trying to get players set up inside of the point for P1 and P2. This is where Higher have actually been able to collect the majority of their points, and we will see Jerd, at least here on the point right now. He has a bit of assistance in from behind him. Higher are starting to make their collapse. Dens will cut off Zinx, who's trying to work through that pinch. Proto from the top will be able to find himself one, and it's going to be Dens now trying to play his life.
Exotic coming around, able to find himself a double kill. He's done a lot of the legwork when it comes to playing in and around the hard point. 2 minutes and nearly 45 seconds with a hard point time. I couldn't do that if you asked me to, Austin. I don't know. It's just like, how are you in the hill that much and you're still 25 and 17? Absolutely unreal play from him, but Team Zed will clear some of the pressure off. But I've said that too many times. They've cleared the pressure, but they're not establishing it. They've been behind the ball for a lot of these rotations so far, and obviously that needs to change with them down about 100 points.
Jerd, he finds actually a good angle to maybe help his players pushing up through the street here. I mean, this play is really on Jerd to try and go big here for himself. The finesse on the tree from Proto, not good. Last one in the back now is going to be Zinx. Higher, not in position maybe to win this setup unless Zinx can do the exact same thing we just saw the player here on screen. Can he end up doing it? Dens will find him, so Zinx will fall. This is one of the better rotations we've seen out of Team Zed, but only 25 seconds needs to go over here, Alan, so now they need to hold.
Well, and how many times have we seen Team Zed with a nice initial setup, but then it completely gets foiled by Higher? Feels like too many times. As Exotic finds himself a double kill, he's already into the hard point. Again, every second he finds is fine. They will eventually get the elimination, so it's going to be a 4v3 for this next break, but here's Proto and Mayhem up top. Zed able to find himself one, trying to keep things clear, but Team Zed already spawning out. I mean, it's just too easy right now for Higher. Zed has to go massive, and he does, finds himself a double. And with that, Higher will be stalled just before they can break past the 230 mark. They do have spawns, though, coming up for this next hit.
Oh, this is really big. I mean, they get on towards the point, but it's not enough to actually close it. And we get one more contest there as well from Tay and Jerd. So they're going to have to try and hold the spawns. And as I shift my attention towards the mini-map, the spawns are not going to be here. So they once again need to find a successful rotation. Zed, can he do it twice? He will be able to find himself a second. Big kills. He needs to play his life. Only 44 HP. Tries to cut across. Zinx will not let it happen. Mayhem and Zinx, the AR duo, locking down the back, and Proto is cutting the middle of the map here. Desperation mode for Team Zed. 10 seconds. That's all Higher need. And well, they can't even get themselves close towards the point. Can Zed do it here again? Has to move in and find everyone. Denz does find a double, but it's Exotic. Of course it's Exotic. He wins the battle, and Higher, they take map number 1.
Yeah, it's just Hire's pressure across the map was relentless. Outside of largely just P1 to P2 there at the end, I felt like every time I was talking about a rotation color point, it was Team Zed they're resisting, but they're never establishing that pressure. Yeah. And that is not good when you're playing on a quick map like Crossroads. Any moment that you find yourself getting reactive and you're feeling like you're not able to get proactive on the map, that's kind of the scoreline that we've come to see over not just the course of the Challenger seed at large, but also what we've seen here in the Challengers Elite side of things. So that's the first map, 250 to 168. And it's really, again, not a situation that I'm looking at too many negative stat lines, but the one that kind of runs the day for me is not just Exotic's kill death ratio, but how positive he was with how much freaking hard point time he had. I mean, my goodness, around 3 minutes plus worth of time is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous because when you're thinking about hardpoint as a team, especially now that we're in 4v4, right? Like it's not always you who's going to be responsible for, soaking up the time. You don't have a dedicated person soaking up time here for yourself. Typically, you want it to be your subs and ARs depending on what map it is, but it's just the simple fact that Exotic is finding the entries and then he's also winning all the battles when they're trying to actually find the breaks. So he just happens to find himself on the point soaking up this time while also going off. Almost had a shot at being able to get himself streaks there as well when we were seeing him dance around P1 going into towards that second rotation. So it is just such a massive factor to have someone step up like this for Higher. And I mean, it's just like we didn't see this from Exotic for like the first 5 cups. You know what I mean? Like it just feels like it's almost coming out of nowhere, all starting from yesterday where he had that stand-up performance on Crossroads where he's able to influence the map with this submachine gun. It is so impactful. It's changing up, I mean, how Team Zed are able to play off of these rotations and hold these setups, because when you have someone who's constantly popping 2 pieces just about every single life and then playing their life inside of the point, I mean, that makes it pretty difficult to get any time.
Yeah, it really does. And again, just to kind of paint the picture one more time here, Team Zed have only played 2 hardpoint maps in this stretch that they've gone 3-1. Sure. One of them being Crossroads, the other being Garrison. And to be fair, going into this matchup, their Crossroads has not been incredible. They had a 101-250 loss to NYSL Academy and a 72-250 loss to UT Crew. So as much as I think we're sitting here and we look just cumulatively at the standings and you see Team Zed 3-1, 10-5, there have been some real big blemishes on what they've done, even in the run versus some of the teams that are around them that are also either 3-1 at the time or are, of course, improved beyond that. So now that we transition over to the search and destroy, not a single instance that we could go back to and say, how does Team Zed look on raid? Because we have not seen it in the Challengers Elite. They've only played up until map 4 in their series, which means that they've always played their map pick largely when it comes to their search and destroy, and it's exclusively been on Miami. That's not in the map set here. So this will be a first look at what Team Zed is bringing to the mix in the search and destroy on raid. But to be fair, just at the mode itself, they are 4-0 on search and destroy. So they've been good here when it comes to the mode overall.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely have. And I'm actually really looking forward towards seeing Higher on towards this raid search and destroy, because raid is similar to Moscow in the sense where, it's pretty cut for 3 lanes. And besides it being, maybe a little bit wider from, east to west for as far as what we have on Moscow, raid is very, very similar. And I think the biggest factor from Higher is they were just like toying with their food. And sure, Mr. Midmap's maybe not the best example to bring up because they've had, a very rough going of this entire first stage. So I mean, maybe it is difficult to make the comparison, but I still don't think you can take too much away of what Higher were really implementing when they were calling a lot of their strategies. I mean, I don't know if it's just one person who's making a lot of these calls or if everyone's contributing towards, hey, let's make this rat play back, let's try and play for information, throw some stunts and nades over by A and then execute on towards B. It was just like a lot of this immediate shot calling and everyone was on the same page. There was no hesitation here from this Higher squad in Moscow. So I want to see if that's something that ends up carrying on going in towards this raid here for map 2.
Well, I know you're excited to see it, Austin, and well, we're not going to have to wait to see it because we're loading on it. It's going to be raid for the search and destroy. Higher currently up 1-0, but they're going up against what has largely been a flawless Team Zed team in search and destroy. Caveat, it's all been in Miami. So Let's see if the storylines adjust or change at all as we get ready to go here for Raid on the Search and Destroy. It'll be what Team Z here on the offense first, and it will be Dens who's carrying the bomb over to A initially. A little bit of spam fire going through the Zig woodwork here from Tay. Not going to find anything, but how about this cut? Zed is already in a position to try to take advantage of the middle of the map, and I don't know if HYXR have largely even seen this yet.
Oh, Zed. I mean, these slides absolutely got to be heard inside. And well, there's Exotic. He gets double hit. Jerd finds him, but Proto in from the back. I mean, he actually finds two. Mayhem will fall. It's chaos in and around the kitchen area. But with all things said and done, it's going to be the 2v2 with about 50 seconds left on the clock.
Such an interesting hit to see how that kind of unfolded. You've got two players who were able to wrap through the B pillars to the middle of the map, and then Tay just pre-firing through the woodwork gave them an opportunity to cut in, but HYXR read it. Now you've got Sinks on your flank. He's good for a double. That's an absolutely interesting offensive rotation, but more so brilliance from the defense to pick it up and find efficiency with two players finding double kills.
Yeah, that big play there from Proto, I think, is what stopped that push from really giving them any options to go in towards the A side or wrap back towards B, and then they try to make that call the wrap back to the spawn. It's just an easy reads. I mean, both teams doubled up, and Zink's able to lock down the shots here for us. So you mentioned it, Zinks and Proto both finding two in round number one. Now we'll switch sides and see what HYXR have on the table. These are the rounds that I am really looking out for because of everything that I explained going in towards this map. What are they going to be able to do, and how much control can they get? So far, looks to be pretty standard coming over towards B. Jerd will get the information, take some shots, but isn't exactly going to be able to find any kills. And now we'll start to see the control take place here for HYXR as they move in towards Laundry.
I like the defensive rotation, though, again, from Team Z. It's a double hit right through the middle of the map. They're going to keep Zed there, and then they know for a fact that HYXR has crossed through the ring, so they have to try to play passive through Laundry. Jerd, lucky to be alive, I'd say. Flak jacket, it's looking like a flak poncho or something. I mean, it is completely covered, good to go. 35 HP, gets the regen, and HYXR will plant the bomb. And Ruiz apparently wanted to come in to see how things were going. Get out of here, there, friend. Jerd up top, not going to be good for the kill into Mayhem. This is a nice hold so far for HYXR. Just comes down to can they find the initial kills. Exotic and Mayhem, they combined for two. And HYXR's post plant, absolutely solid. Just need to find one more in the Tay. No chance for him to get away, and HYXR go up 2-0 early.
I think what I really liked about that offense was HYXR didn't force Laundry control. We see a lot of teams, I think, especially when they're hitting this bomb site, is they want to get submachine gun players inside of Laundry too often, and that sometimes that ends up biting them right in the butt because we see the bomb carrier, you know, often the player that has to make that move because he has the sub, and then sometimes things go horribly wrong. The bomb carrier drops, you then have to try and get control. You don't feel comfortable dropping the bomb because the defensive side has been able to make rotations and figure out where you are. So this is just a good adjustment from HYXR, playing off the patience and waiting for their moment to drop that bomb. Now, Team Z, they need to find a response on offense, and the question is, what are they looking to do? Last time it was a mid hit that they came through with, looks to be maybe a similar play. Tape with the pre-fire will allow player one to move up with some options, and it will be Jerd who finds first blood onto Zinks.
That's a huge first blood. Copy paste the round one offense, except do a small little control edit, send Jerd over towards the top side of the statue by B. That's the only thing that's different. The fact that he finds one kill, gets to read that there are more nearby, the help gets there. That's what leads to this number situation where Mayhem has to find a 1v4. Brilliant play. Semtex will keep his regen down. Just 20 HP to play with, and the bomb is planted. This is a pretty unlosable situation, you feel like, for Team Z.
Yeah, it feels that way. I mean, Mayhem, with the stuns and nades coming in, he's expecting a couple players to actually be tight on him. That is not the case. Mayhem will get us AK-74U to play with. Information for Jerd. He just needs to give the shoulder and play his life. Already so much time eliminated from this clock, and Mayhem just hoping maybe to grab one extra kill. Not even going to come through. Team Z definitely needed this round to come through, and this one was a lot cleaner.
Much cleaner. I'm just really interested because, like you mentioned, outside of the couple of times they've been on the mainstream, we really haven't had a lot of time to watch Team Z play. So I've been really curious to see what exactly has added the spice to the meatball here. And so far, it's just been aggression on the search and destroy. I mean, that's two separate offenses and a defense that the SMGs have hard committed to get into the middle of the map first. And it's been successful for them 3 out of 3 times that they've attempted it. But it isn't until round 3 that it really leads to success. And the difference is the fact that it's Jerd who gets that first blood over towards the B bomb site. If he loses that battle, totally different situation. But now it's going to be HYXR's time to try to play through the middle of the map. And they've got 3 members that are already through or around kitchen as they try to get onto the A site early.
Man, nobody's sitting inside a kitchen here watching the middle of the map. Very interesting defensive setup. Tay's playing defensive inside the basketball court. He gets smoked here from Zinx. Zed tries to find some value in on the flank. He will actually be able to take down Mayhem. Meanwhile, Jerd finds the kill, be able to make sure that defensive side still has a numbers advantage.
Jerd up top now. HYXR's going to rotate around this big first kill for Zed. He reads where the second player is, so it's a 1v3 situation now made a 1v2. Proto sees Jerd up top Tiki. Doesn't expect the player nearby, though. Dens finds the easy kill as it was utility in hand, and that will now make it a 2-for-2 now. So it's, again, the subtle adaptations that we've seen from both teams is largely kind of giving us a speed chess game, where we're going to make aggressive plays. We're going to respond to your aggressive plays with aggressive plays of our own. Who's able to kind of hit harder so far in the early stages, and it's resulted in two different two-round sprees for either team.
Still feel like Team Zed are probably counting their blessings on that one. I mean, there's not very often where we just see no one stacking towards the middle, and if they end up just finding that first kill, playing their lives a little bit more and dropping that bomb, I mean, that becomes a much more difficult retake there in the 3v4, but it's Jerd finding that kill, and then Zed also winning that battle inside of Tiki to make sure they're able to salvage that round and even things up. 2-2 we go. Big swing round now for round number 5. Looks to be back towards an A execute. Tay the first one in. Will not get seen, I think, from Mayhem on this cross. And he might go for the immediate plan. I mean, there's information here from that flash going out, but this should be the bomb going down.
Exotic coming to the middle of the map with Proto. Again, the post-plant situation is very sturdy for Team Zed. All of it coming from the backside of bedroom. The flank attempt would have to be from Zinx. And, well, he does find one kill. So now Dens is in a little bit of trouble because he's essentially in a 1v4 while Jerd watches the back. And Jerd falls. So now it's just flush out Dens. The bomb is being diffused. Dens finds one kill, stays alive for a time. But Exotic will eventually come around the backside of the staircase and find the easy kill.
That was really nice there. HYXR just, going through with the both submachine gun players hitting open stairs. One hits one side, the other hits the other side. And, I mean, that is just not too much you can do. I think it's Tay that gets trapped in that corner, trying to wait for that gunfight and doesn't exactly have anyone able to assist him in that spot. So good stuff here for HYXR on the retake, making sure they're not going to give over a defensive round here. And it's also Zinx finding, I believe, two, reading both players who were trying to work for what was the late flank here. I mean, if Jerd finds the right timing, maybe he gets Zinx in towards the back, and that helps Dens play his life a little bit more. But just big heads up play, Zinx coming away with two, and HYXR right back in control.
Man, this has been a really fun search and destroy. I'm hoping that everybody watching is on the edge of their seats like I am right now, because it's been these small little adjustments from round to round that have led to great moments of success and some pivotal moments of defeat here for some of our squads. 3 SMGs in the mix as HYXR looks to get aggressive over right through the ring. And the Semtexes are wonderfully placed. Zed's got nowhere to go. Exotic with the bomb finds first blood, but does get traded. Jerd has got no reprieve to back up to, though, so it'll be a 2-for-1 exchange favoring HYXR, but without the bomb.
Oh, Dens, play your life here. He will. And Tay's there to back him up. So it will be defensive hold from the laundry side of the map. Mayhem. He gets info now on towards Tay, takes the challenge, won't be able to finish off the kill. He now knows both players have to be back here. And what will HYXR decide to do, because they don't have the bomb like you mentioned, so they don't exactly have the option to be able to just rotate over. Dens actually gets a little bit aggressive, tries to get that nade out, brings home the kill, but Zinx with the trade. Now all up to Tay here in the 1v2.
He's got no information. He can't peek with this SMG. He does hear the bomb get picked up. Checks over to his right to make sure there's no mantle challenge, but he's not going to put the play from behind. Or will he? He's able to find a couple of shots, but the double challenge too strong, and HYXR regained their lead up to 4-2.
That was just, I think, the start of the round right here. We see the nades come through, right? And this is just interesting because when we used to look at Black Ops U-Raid, that power position on the van was just so important, but there was never enough room to really shoot the toes underneath the cap at the bottom. Now there is. So it plays a little bit different. It's not exactly the same power position it used to be. And if you don't find a kill very quickly there, you're absolutely going to be taken down because you don't exactly have the cover. And HYXR find themselves with the great openings here. Zinx also, got to mention him. He's having an excellent map. 8-2, finds himself on 4 in a row, but it's going to be back towards the basics. I mean, Team Zed, they've been loving this A site. They've been getting the bomb down, and you can see by Mayhem, he's letting this go down. He wants to try and reposition it towards basketball. Exotic, however, he gets caught peeking, but there will be a trade once again from Zinx.
The bomb does go down again successfully. You have the same post plant setup for Team Zed. Jerd watching the flank, Dens up top in bedroom, Tay just trying to be annoying. So how do you break this with not having numbers this time if you're HYXR? Again, Tay's just throwing shoulders. Here comes the challenge. He finds one, a great one as well. Again, a 1-for-1 exchange is perfectly acceptable. Dens is going to stay down. Trophy system this time will keep him safe. Checks over the bomb. No one defusing. Does read that Mayhem's close by. Here comes the play. Zinx moving forward, finding the first kill. Mayhem's going to mantle up top, and then Zinx will play from behind. You need to find this kill quickly, though. Zinx is actually going to have to stick for the defusal. Dens has repositioned, and will find the kill. Not enough time here, even if Mayhem finds the elimination to defuse. And that will be Team Zed reducing the gap just to a round as they go 3-4.
It's always frustrating, right? I mean, you're just hoping that you can try and keep your bomb plant, or rather bomb diffuser, just keep them alive and do what you can. Mayhem does, everything he possibly could in the situation. He's trying to read whether it's going to be a challenge up top or a challenge down low, and he just doesn't read that it's coming down low. So big play here from Dens to make sure that they do get away with a round. I mean, we always talk about it, right? I mean, 5-2 looks a lot more different than 4-3. So this is going to be Team Zed still in this one, but they need to try and find some success here on the defense.
What's going to be the set play here for Higher? Semtex over the top, sticks
Wow.
one. Mayhem good for a second. And Tay was supposed to be a part of this push through mid. He's got to back away, though. A very early 4v2 situation in Hire's mid-round aggression. Looking very solid. Pinch play from Tay. He's going to be tagged up from multiple angles. Good luck, have fun. Just down to Dens for a 1v4.
Yeah, good luck, Dens. And well, there's Exotic just rushing at him like he's been doing the entire series. And yeah, they've practiced that, Nate, a couple times. That's for sure. And
just once or twice, yeah.
It looked really good. I mean, gets the stick coming through, and it is not easy for anyone who has not played Search and Destroy on Raid in this game to get any kind of offensive pressure in the middle of the map, especially right away. But sometimes when you brute force your way through, have those well set nades pushed in and set up in towards the square, I mean, it works out beautifully. And now Team Zed still struggling on defense, but have looked slightly better on offense. They're looking to change things up. They're not going to go back towards A. They are going to try to get themselves inside of B. They have ring control. They find the first kill. Zed finds the second, and we got ourselves a quick 3v1.
It's just, I'm telling you, dude, it's speed chess. That's the only way you can compare what's happening on the map right now. Bomb will be planted. Exotic, 1v3 situation, has already gained control over Laundry. The slide, though, is going to give away his position, and that'll be a pretty easy follow-up. So again, round for round we go, but the problem is that's not going to be successful if Team Zed want to try to find a way to win this search. They need to find a way to take still 2 rounds in a row just to try to tie this series up.
Yeah, getting a defense, I mean, it's kind of just a weird spot, right? You try to change things up. You say, all right, let's get aggressive in towards the middle of the map. Let's try and take some space away from Higher because they're constantly rushing and running at us. Let's not give them that kind of an opportunity. But that got shut down last time. So now are you going to play passive and kind of give up the middle of the map like they did a few rounds ago? And we saw Higher just take complete control of it. There is a lot of pressure on Team Zed, and they're looking to go for just about a full stack towards B. They are predicting right. Jared's playing a bit of an off angle, trying to see if he can maybe catch a player off guard. He will get stunned up and doesn't want to play that angle for too long, giving away his life here potentially. But we'll start to see Higher creep up on towards Laundry. Good wall bang. Zinx, he finds the first kill.
I was just about to ask the question, Higher, how do you find success with this play when no one is playing aggressive against you? The answer just seems to be wait for the information, then get the pick. But Zed does take out an Exotic who was trying to plant the bomb. So now all of a sudden, someone else has to pick up that mantle. Zinx is still worried about the middle of the map, but Team Zed's defense has rotated. They are all fully stacked into Laundry. So you're going to send Proto on a long play through mid, clear up the map. Let's see exactly where they're not, because that, of course, means that by normal principles, you're going to find out exactly where they are. But the problem is they still lose another member. It's going to have to be down to Proto to find these eliminations from the side. Good for one, not good for the second. And Team Zed will send us to round 11.
Oh, they sent us to round 11. I mean, what a gut check call too to say, guys, let's 4-stack B. Let's make sure they do not get this bomb down. And I mean, whoever makes that call, like, give yourself a pat on the back because that was absolutely the right one. But I mean, in a world where they go A on that round, you have to make a full rotation, either pushing through ring and towards the middle of the map or coming back through your side. So they will get us to the distance for map number 2. And they also get themselves a defense, but they will be on the attack here. They've favored A so much in towards the very first half of this game, and they will be bringing the bomb over here, but you can see them playing for information, trying to see if they can work for a pick before pushing out.
5 kills straight for Zed. A lot of the reason why his namesake team is still in this game. A couple of opening bullets being thrown between both Zed and Zinx over towards B. Nothing going to come of it, though. Down to 60 seconds to play, and This is going to have to be just a gut check reaction call here from both teams largely. Teams that just have to commit forward and higher. Can you find not just first blood, but also rotate? And they're going to do that. 2 players in the middle of the map try to pick up this pinch. So Mayhem, all you got to do is just wait, play your life, see if you can hope that your teammates can find kills off this exit.
Jerd, he finds value on Mayhem. Now it's a 2v2. 35 seconds to try and get this bomb defused. Jerd's got basketball control, but they are going to be very separate. Tate's got to play his life, and the nades coming up actually do not tag him. He gets information that they're not on the bomb just yet. Tate drops down, but this might have cost him his life. There is the pinch. All up to Jerd in the 1v2 situation. Zinx and Exotic, are they going to read this correctly? No one's hopped on the bomb just yet, but someone's going to have to here in a quick second. Jerd gets the information. He sees the lags, and now we can play the clock. Nobody can get there in time for the trade. Zinx doesn't read it correctly. And that is going to be Team Z clutching up here for us in the round 11, bringing it back and tying up the series.
That's just unbelievable. The bomb's not planted for Jerd there, by the way. It's sitting closer towards the post-plant setup up top in bedroom. But again, he gets that long flank play that Higher isn't able to read, not able to fully respond to because you've got no more numbers over through laundry. So nobody can come clear out Jerd. And this elimination here for Dens is absolutely what you need. It allows a chance for Tay to play his life a little bit longer. It's every little kill adds up to 10, 15 seconds here or there. And the clock would eventually be the win condition. But that's 3 rounds in a row for Team Z. We're maybe throwing out some assumptions. Okay, we have not seen Team Z play a search and destroy that's not named Miami. Would they be able to find a way to get success on that? The answer would be yes, and in a major way, winning 3 rounds in a row. Huge round 11, and that ties us up in the series 1-1 here, Austin.
That ties us up, and I mean, I think Higher got to be a little bit frustrated with that. They certainly had to control the entire way through. They're up 4-2 at one point in time, right? And Team Z just fighting, not letting it go over without a battle coming through there for us. So big plays and big heads up play there to Jerd in the end there. Just, it takes a lot of balls to just hit cutout like that when you have no idea where every single member is defensively set up. So the fact that it ends up working out here and he's able to play his life and get a 1v2 clutch in round 11, I mean, what a play for sure. But we turn our attention towards what will be a Garrison control, Alan, and I'm a bit conflicted because I haven't seen as much gameplay here from this Team Z squad as I have from Higher, and I think Higher have been pretty hit and miss for as far as this game mode. It feels like they have been able to find some success, and more recently, I mean, they have drastically improved. As much as that's the search and destroy that they lose, I mean, that's one that they absolutely could have won, but it's no longer those blowouts that we were kind of seeing from week number 1 here. So, I mean, this might be also something they've improved in drastically on this map going up against Team Z here for us.
It was 3 matches in a row that Higher got blown out in every single control they played. 0-3 losses, 3 matches in a row. And this is coming up after they had beaten Maki Maki and UT Crew in their opening matchups in 5 rounds. So it's one of those things that something was just not going right for them. You don't expect a team that's able to exist and ice up in 5 rounds on maps like Garrison and Raid to then come out and play the same 2 maps and get 0-3. Not very often do you see that happen. Now, when they played up against Mr. Mid-Maps, like you were kind of relating to, they lost that map 5. So there were some corrections overall, but is there going to be enough to get past a very good Team Z team in control? That's the large question, because out of the 4 controls we've seen from Team Z, 3 of them have gone round 5. 2 of those favored Team Z. So they're good at extending these maps pretty lengthily into that round 5 situation. So if you're just to figure what potentially is win condition, it's not maybe the question of can you win an offense, but can you keep those lives close enough, because you do not want to allow Team Z to go to a round 5 where defense is in their favor.
That's exactly it. And I think that, it's been really interesting. We always talked about this, at the beginning of the game, where we're like, okay, this map's so defensively favored, offense just struggling to get anything done. But we've now gotten to the point, especially, I mean, at the professional level and somewhat in towards challengers, that, this can now be won on offense. It's just about getting yourself inside of bricks and then getting yourself in control of the spawn trap, right? Like if you can start cutting off the reinforcements that are making their way on towards either point, then you're putting yourself in an excellent spot to be able to get a effective setup in, to be able to hold down the point and be able to stack it as well, because we know after the changes you can also get 2 or 3 members on there, and that progress bar will absolutely zip by. So that is really what it's going to be about here, and I think that it can be won, but we're looking at a lot of the subs here, seeing if Exotic can do what he did in that map number 1 and bring it towards us here in Garrison.
Well, here we go. Transitioning on through a pivotal swing map here. Map number 3, the Garrison control, and a 1-1 tie series. Again, just as far as the implications go for the overall kind of standings in this North American Challengers Elite, Team Z are still in the potential running of getting a top 2 seed, which would give them not just the ability to skip the knockout group and be right into playoffs, but of course that does also mean that they will not have to face any sort of relegation consequences. They will be ready to go for season 2. And as we jump on in immediately, we'll be taking a look at what seems to be a higher offense. And so far, kill for kill we go. Last gunfight will tilt in favor of Jerd, though, and he's got himself a nice start in 3 in a row. Make it 4.
Sure, with 4? Oh, man. Looked like he might have been able to open up with 5. Exotic shuts it down, make sure there's no streaks coming into play this early. Proto, big gunfight here on Zed so that he can start opening up the map, but Zed plays his life, and that's fine because he's able to burn a couple more seconds off. Higher struggling to get themselves near the point here, and Tay is another reason why. I mean, so many players so far for Team Zed have been able to chip away at multi-kills coming off on their lives, keeping mid-map control, and all these roaming SMGs are able to just kind of fall into a bit of a rhythm right now.
Although there is an opportunity here, Proto's able to slide through over towards the B zone. Does get cut up, but it goes 2 for 2 overall. So mid-map pressure is starting to get established for HYXR's offense. Time is becoming a problem, and Zed will make sure that stays the case as he pops out from the vent, finds himself 1 kill, leaving Zinx to have to stall the clock. And once again, it's Zed from behind. He finds himself not just Zinx, but Exotic, who was supposed to find that trade. And Zed, a 7-2 start, 4 kills in a row. Give him 5, maybe number 6, but gets caught maybe a touch overextended. But regardless, that's a solid Team Zed defense with a 7-life lead after they come out of it.
Yeah, an excellent defense that comes through. I will be honest, though, I would like to see some of these subs that are starting to go on these hot sprees, you know, play their life just a tad bit more, because when we're talking about Garrison and we get down to what often it seems to be those round 5s, those streaks play such a massive factor. And if you can get yourself a couple of streaks this early, I mean, you're really setting yourself up for a strong chance at being able to take the map itself. But strong defense here from Team Zed, higher now with the response, seeing exactly what they're going to be able to do. They got shut down heavily in towards the middle of the map, and they can't afford to have a weak break off against a team that's already playing this hot.
No, for sure. I mean, it's 3 rounds in a row in the search and destroy that they largely, again, it was just down to who was able to get the little bit of blessed RNG over the other, right? I mean, it was so fast, so definitive as far as what both teams wanted to do. And now all of a sudden, you've got Jerd and Zed really popping off. Looking for the headshot line is Jerd. Will be backed up. Sees Proto down low. Nice little burst plus a shot punch to find the kill, but it will not result in any progress on the B zone.
Yeah, good control here by Caution. Mayhem trying to find Zed. Zed's in an excellent position. If he wants to, he can fly towards A. Of course, he doesn't know that no one is there defending it. We will see Zinx picked up as he starts the press for cutting off those reinforcements. Mayhem, he gets unfortunate timing, and Jerd definitely hears that slide. That's a chance down for light control. Tay also on the point, looking to start stacking up some time. Den's not allowed to press forward over towards A, but he's still got teammates in and around them. Sure, they don't get that progress bar on B, but they do get one on A.
Zed is going to have to really just finesse for as long as possible. The decision of when do I play the heady versus when do I try to play for stalling the clock is a difficult one to make, and he will be taken down while he considered just stalling the clock. Mayhem coming out from top screen finds himself a 2nd kill to the pistol, goes Exotic, but Dens will find that elimination. Now it's just down to how much value can Zinx find with Mayhem with him as they try to zone off and find kills. And yeah, they're doing a nice job here, but you got to remember that it was a 7-life overall lead for Team Zed from their first defense. So even if Higher can successfully kill these 24 seconds, will they have done enough to, again, try to keep that kill differential in their favor?
Mayhem, he finds that first one, 15 seconds left, and you're kind of just moving in solo here. Likely just need to try and play your lives. You only need a couple more kills to try and open up a chance to get to the point, but everyone's in such excellent positions that I don't think they will be able to. Tay was the only one that ended up slipping through, and Walt Proto finds 2 there at the end of the round. So neither team finding a whole lot of success here on offense, not being able to break this barrier in towards the middle of the map and start pressuring these zones.
And again, it's just going to be down, I think, largely to, and there's been a lot of conversation around it, and I don't really know how you feel about divisions, but the conversation of maybe there should be an adjustment to control where it's not the lives that make a difference, but the progress that is cumulatively found for one offense or the other. And you kind of take the objective measure as who gets what side for round 5 rather than just the kills. But regardless of that fact, with Team Zed finding a little bit of progress at A, a little bit of progress on B, they do a better job than Higher overall. And even though they lose their offense, they only keep it down to a differential of a couple of lives. So there is a small advantage in the mix here when it comes to Team Zed. If we look at just the macro of if we get to round 5, who would start on defense, that's currently the situation that we're looking at.
What can Proto do here? Is it a chance to maybe move in towards the zone? Jerd has to now hold this by himself. He meets Proto there for a moment, realizes the push might come to the middle. Excellent read here for Mayhem, but it's Zed with the response here with the XM4. He finds 2. Proto gets himself on top of B, so the time will be stopped. And look at Zed. I just love this play. He's moving right up in towards a position where he can start giving some information and maybe even cut down a couple, but Exotic, he sniffs it out. He makes sure that will not happen. Tay just simply does not have all the reinforcements just yet as they're starting to push through green. It's a battle inside, but Tay will play off with the patience, finds himself the double, and make sure that tick does not go through.
Good stuff so far. Again, the defense recuperating, regrouping, and as they clear the pressure, they're also, again, being very smart about how far do we push forward? Where is that line in the sand as far as how far can we get through defensively? My Semtex for Exotic finds 1 kill. Tough gunfights here for Tay. Has to back away from it. Now down low. Proto gonna find the kill. Exotic finds 1 more through lights. This is really good progress here for HYXR as they go 4 for 1 in the exchange. This has to be a chalk up in the B zone for Team Z.
Looks to be the case. And, I mean, you get an extra minute. You got a minute 30 to work with. Now it's all about getting in towards the back. Tay, another big position here. Stun check comes in, but that does not hit him. Mayhem, little shoulder, trying to wait for the reinforcements to push him out. I mean, Mayhem's just trying to play his life right now, but Exotic doesn't move in to find this kill. It's a good setup so far as they're going to be able to find 3 of the 4. Last one remaining is going to be Proto, caught in towards the middle of the map. Zed comes flying down from green, cleans him up, and that is a great first defensive hold.
It's just one of those things that every single time that we're seeing Zed get pushed around, not the player, but the team, they bounce right back after their next respawns. There has not been a situation yet where HYXR's been able to really aggress forward enough to make this mid-map hit really feel like it's going to lead to too much. These 1-for-1 exchanges are fine, but you're down in the life count. You've got under 60 seconds to play, so now it's going to be on to Zinx. He tried to go for the transfer, and as impressive as the damage was, he only walks away with a single kill.
What can Mayhem do here? Well, there's your answer. Not too much, I guess. But we will see Proto also finds that opening. Big battle here for Jerd, and Proto gives them the business. Finds 2. Exotic also, the second submachine gun player, maybe able to stop this clock. He finds Tay. So now you have no one in towards the middle of the map. You've got 2 players on top of the zone. This is looking good for HYXR. This should be a for sure first tick coming through. But Team Z, they're going to also be making their way through as Mayhem actually decides to use the streak, plays for the information, doesn't find value, but it's going to be Zinx. What can he do up top? He's got a lot of white members in between the walls trying to make their way back on towards the point with only 20 seconds left.
Proto, big kill there to Dance. It's going to open up some space for his teammates to try to get here to help out, but you need to find Jerd as well. Zinx gets the elimination. He's going to get a little bit of help here in a moment. It's Exotic who's going to be here first. He picks up the cross, finds an elimination. Now to the 74U as he pushes forward. Zed is able to find 1. HYXR is starting to come down, but they're from Mayhem, and it's able to find Jerd. Second tick of progress is good. 1v1 coming through, but Mayhem able to get the last shots in. The third tick of progress about to come into the mix if he can stay alive. Tay, the last player left, able to find 1 kill. What a heads-up play! Tay finds 2. 1v1. 10 seconds to go. It's Exotic versus Tay, who's now back to 150 HP. Down to 3 seconds. You have to make the challenge, and here it comes, and Exotic ices up in the 1v1 and higher. They secure the first offense.
Oh, Alan. Oh, Alan, that was close. I mean, Mayhem invested both of his streaks. Imagine a world where Tay actually gets this 1v3. That is then immediate frustration. And it looks like Mayhem just not ready for that re-challenge. And I mean, I don't know how Tay comes away with it, but he does. Just can't grab that last kill. Exotic, just making sure that everybody on the side of HYXR stays cool after that offensive round. And now it's pressure on Team Z. They lose the defense. They now have to respond going in towards this round number 4. Have to find offensive success if we're going to a round 5.
Oh boy. I don't think we've seen a closer ending to Control. And we've seen some things. Jerd up top trying to clear the bridge. He does find the elimination onto Zinx. And again, watch what Jerd does here. He's going to not just go onto the point, but push through it. Try to stall some defensive rotations for as long as possible. And Team Z are going to commit another number here. This is going to be good. They could double stack this for at least a tick. Denz is sitting there saying, that looks like fun. Let me jump on this ride. That's a third player who's stacking. And meanwhile, Z is on the B zone. HYXR's going to commit trying to clear him off A. If they're not successful here, the offense will surely be good. Jerd from the side of the archway. Gonna find a lot of damage, able to get himself one. Tay able to find more. It's just on to Exotic again versus Jerd. Pistol in hand, wins the gunfight. And that should be the A zone. And the entire time that this has happened, Dens has still been over at B. So there will be a bit of clearance, maybe overspoke, but you've got 2 ticks of progress on both zones so far.
Yeah, with a minute left on the clock here, and I mean, this very well could be 2 minutes left with B going over, unless we see a big play. Dens trying to play his life. Exotic will be able to win the battle, but Jerd there for the reinforcements. Now it's actually a last-second contest there. Zed's going to win that battle. Jerd follows up there on towards Mayhem, but in the end, it's still going to go over an A just about there as well. I mean, a few more seconds of progress. Can there be a break?
Whoa.
Exotic? No way! Finds himself 2, turns and burns on Jerd, and he will make sure Higher are still alive on this or defensive round.
Now Exotic in the hard point. Higher trying to rotate to help him out from the middle of the map. So much time left and only 13 lives, so incredible last-second hold there for Higher, but the next minute 30 is going to have to be incredible as well. Jerd has snuck through the back. Higher's looking for him. They do take down Zed, and I believe a shoulder was seen, and that'll be a nice second kill. Now a third as well. Good stuff here from Higher, trying to dwindle the lives and make sure that they are established as being the presence in the middle of the map.
There was about a 10 life difference, so yeah, these kills are extremely important. You just need 1 tick, which means you just need 1 wipe, and you could stack this if you're Team Zed. A lot easier said than done. Zed trying to play for some information, knows there's a player close right, also knows there's one in life. Mayhem goes for the challenge, will be punished from Jerd. Exotic's just sitting on the point, trying to play inside, making sure no one has entry from green, but here we go. Zed from the side. What can he find? He tries to jump up. Exotic is going to get smoked. Does Zed find a second here? I mean, he's lost all of his teammates. It's simply on him to try and make this play happen. Will be able to find himself one more. Goes to the pistol for Proto, but Proto gets the trade.
Again, this is okay if you're Higher for now, but it's going to get down to the wire again. All it is 1 break for Team Z that's required. It's going to have to come in this next 35 seconds. You can no longer play through spawn if you're Team Z. You have to try to cut through Cobble. They're going to try to make the play through the back. You just can't do it. There's not enough time. Mayhem for 3. Last player alive is Zed. There was not enough time for you to make a spawn trap play for Team Z, and they get punished for it, and now Higher have a life lead.
15 seconds left. They will sniff out Mayhem. One last attempt to send this to round number 5. Tay with the trade, but he needs to move in and find all of these kills. 8 seconds. They do find their way on the point. Jerd finds the kill, but does he read the second? He does. Zed finds the third. It could be a stack. A last-second play here from the side of Team Zed. It just comes down to this 1v1. What can Jerd do? He just gets the time! And on the last push with 8 seconds, Alan, we're going to round 5.
Are you kidding me? I mean, this play, not advised if you're Team Zed because you can't clear space. As much as there may have been time to make the route happen, you can't successfully clear the corners. So you thought that with Mayhem finding 3, that was going to be it. But all of a sudden, the last hit to come through, they get through tires, and the play becomes successful because Mayhem cannot overchail to get onto the site to contest. Unbelievable. Round 5, and now Higher are back on the offense again. It couldn't have been more than a life or two to determine who started where.
No streaks, I don't think, to work with either. This is going to be a lot of pressure. What can Higher do? This first kill for Proto would open up a bit of space. Not there. Zed actually finds 2. He beats down Mayhem, but Exotic responds with 2 of his own. Zinx watching over his submachine gun. Just trying to play for the stall of the clock right now. Zinx drops down, and most unfortunate timing for him because Tay with a perfect Semtex will be able to find him. So Higher now working through the original steps, trying to take a bit of control away. Proto decides just to back up here while Mayhem makes the play onto Zed. He finds the kill, and will he be able to find the second? It's Tay who's also trying to watch this zone. He gets the information. Mayhem with the chow won't bring home the kill, but now he has a chance to try and push through, and he will find the second kill.
What a heads-up read for Mayhem. Knows exactly where the exit was going to be, but he's actually going to come through and pinch the backside of the B site. He's not going to try to force Team Z to make a decision by, oh, we need to clear him off of A. He's trying to help this push, and he gets punished for it. I don't know. We'll see if that decision comes to cost them, because now you've got no one that can stall the clock. You had some opportunity to put pressure onto the A zone, but he decides to pinch over to B instead, and Team Z have dealt with the pressure, and now they're, again, putting themselves forward to the middle of the map.
Dens, I mean, he's on 5, very close towards streaks here. If you can find a couple more, Proto, important gunfight, but you're getting very low on time here, Higher. 19 lives remaining. Have to try and stall this clock and capture this B point. Tay up top should end up falling. Exotic finds the kill. Mayhem finds the second. Subs are down right now, but Zed, the third sub up, trying to play his life and will have 36 HP to his name, just trying to back up, making sure he still has some control of green. He finds Mayhem. Dens finds Proto. Everything is lining up for Team Zed, and now only 25 seconds left.
Has to be flawless here for Higher. Zinx up top on the platform gets taken down. Proto also falling. Now it's just down to Mayhem. Awkward 1v1 here that he does not win. Tay finding the shot punch. Exotic, last player alive. Gets the stick, but can't find the follow-up onto Jerd. You're down to 5 seconds. Can anyone even get there in time? It's going to have to be a mad dash, and nobody will. Unreal. The round 3 successful offense to Higher gets matched and potentially supplanted by what Team Zed were able to do in round 4, and then that decision from Mayhem to come back and try to pinch the B control zone instead of just stalling the clock onto A. I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. I think he's got a free ability to stall the clock and force Team Zed to come deal with him, but he decides to pinch and he gets dealt with, and that eventually allows Team Zed to take away too much of the map and give them the round 5 defensive success.
Oh, man. What an exciting map that was.
Boy.
I mean, I know I was like a big advocate of saying, man, like I wish we get CTF back now it's 4v4, but I mean, I see more and more control and I'm like, all right, I am absolutely okay with this. Just the plays we get. I mean, Exotic was the one who really gave Higher a chance at being able to make sure they were still in a position to close that one out 3-1, but it's Jerd's play in the end where he just cleans every single player up. I think he gets 3 there on that play alone, and that just gives the time for Team Zed to come off those respawns and just add in the assistance up top green, and they could just funnel in because, I mean, you start to spawn out so far when you see some of those players start to get themselves inside of bricks and things like this, and on the defensive side, it can be really difficult to get there in time. So big plays, a lot of crazy moments for us. And I mean, Jerd, how many times now is he iced up in towards this series? They're leading 2-1. He has the 1v2 to make sure they're able to win that 6-5 in round 11. He goes in towards the control. Jerd's back doing Jerd things. I mean, it's funny because we talk about Exotic, you know, really picking things up and doing incredible plays on towards the map here for us. But I mean, Jerd also used to be known for this. This is where he really kind of built up his brand and his name. When we're talking about those older 4v4 Call of Duties, he's been a long veteran submachine gun player. And I mean, I think there's a lot of people questioning whether or not Jerd still had it in him. Well, after those plays right there, I mean, he assures us that he definitely does.
Yeah, it's just exhibit A for the defense there, saying we'll go ahead and just put that one on the highlight reel and go ahead and make sure everyone knows exactly what he's capable of. But taking a look at our best of 5 map series set, again, it was a 250-168. It dominated performance from Higher, all things considered, on the Crossroads hardpoint. And then after they were up 5-3, it's actually going to be Team Zed who win 3 rounds in a row, get into the round 11. You talked about the clutch up potential that we saw there for a 6-5 win. It gets re-executed again in the Garrison control. So now we go back to Raid for the hard point coming up next. And just again, to hit the stats, we've only seen Team Zed play on 2 separate hard points, Crossroads and Garrison. We have not seen them play on Raid yet. On the other front for Higher, they've played it twice, once versus UT Crew, the other versus Built by Gamers, and both saw some relatively substantial wins, 250-186 to the 250-217. So they are a perfect 2-0 in this map mode combination, as they need to win it here to see that Moscow search and destroy map 5.
Need to win it here. And I think the takeaways here for Higher is these guys shouldn't be too worried. I think they played a really clean map, number 1. There was, a lot of heads up play on the rotations. Maybe P4 was fumbled a couple times on, all the sets that we did get in those hard points. But I still feel like these guys are going to get us towards that map 5 if they can do a lot of what they did in that map number 1 here for themselves. Teams that were late to rotations, they weren't holding the strongest setups, weren't playing very tight on some of the hills they had to. So if you're Higher, you're not feeling too bad. But I mean, it definitely is difficult to bounce off of 2 maps that you very likely could have won, and this could have just been a hot 3-0. So you have to just adjust, erase that from your mind. Now you're looking to close out these last 2 maps, and we get ourselves right in here, as it's going to be Team Zed on the unfavored side, looking to see if they can get control first.
Nice opening Semtex, my goodness, from Higher. Connects onto at least 2 different players. And they will also win the middle of the map. So an opportunity here for Higher to start soaking up some time. They take care of Tay. Again, it's just chaos. With no trophies down. It's nades every which way you look. Proto trying to push forward, has to deal with the player behind him. What in the world just happened right there? Okay, well, Zed was turned around a little bit, and that will lead to an opportunity for HYXR to really lock down some good time here as Team Zed have to decide, do we play for the hardpoint time? Do we play for the rotation? And they are going to play for the rotation, but it will be read by HYXR on this approach.
Yeah, look at Mayhem. He's taking his time in towards the back here. He knows one player is missing. Dens is the player that they have not actually found when they've got 3 down on that retake there on towards P1. They find Dens now, but Jerd is going to be inside of Kitchen, and he's got no real assistance just yet. They're all funneling through the middle, so he tries to make that move towards Cuto. Good reads here for Mayhem, finding a couple of key kills that make sure they will be locking down the spawns, but it's a battle inside the point. Zed and Tay winning it on some important battles, as this is going to be a chance to be able to still fight for the spawns, but HYXR, they're coming through for their second push.
They've got numbers, but the problem is they've got really nobody picking up the back. Tay had an opportunity to maybe try to foil this, and it looks like he has distracted long enough. A little windy there for Jerd, not going to find the kill, and Proto finds one more. So just when you thought Team Zed was going to break in, HYXR sees an extension of their lifeline here on P2. The trophy system goes down. Proto's on 4 in a row, 7-2 for him, and the help is incredible. He gets himself number 5 to the 74U. He's got to find this last kill on the Tay. Of course he does. Man. 6 kills straight for Proto as he locks down the majority of hardpoint time.
Yeah, Proto's really close to streaks, and I mean, there's only 8 points on the board for Team Zed. I mean, there was a chance for them to be able to actually soak up a bit of that time, but they're not getting the scrap. But they do have a setup here at new. Player 3, he spawns out in behind old, so it's technically just a 3v3 here for a moment. For as far as who wins these opening engagements, Zed might have found the opening, but he decides to come back towards the point, wants to add in the assistance. Exotic will go down. Zed with the Semtex here, reading the second. Good shots. Will be able to double up. Zink's the last one inside of the point. He will find that first kill. Zink's no way you grab the second. It looked good for Team Zed, but still struggling to get any time.
50-50 spawns right now means who can win these transition kills better to try to get back to reinforce the hard point. And we're not getting a definitive answer. It's just kill for kill we go. Proto with a couple. He's able to sneak behind the trucks in the back. Zed try to keep his life waiting for a little bit of help. Does get challenged. Exotic able to force him out. We're still contested this time here, friends. We've got 25 seconds left, and still we go kill for kill. But the last one to survive in the scrap 20 seconds will be Tay. And it looks like HYXR will concede that time as they'll try to make the rotation to basketball.
Mayhem, he's been just set up early so many times, but Dens, no, almost able to cut down 2. That would have been big, as you would have been able to maybe force your numbers in from the top. They're still going to have to do so anyway. Tay finds 1. Zed trying to clear out some of the trophy systems here, waiting patiently for the team to come through. We will see it's all orange in that feed for us. 3 go down. They have control up top. Zinx is able to play his life. There's one more inside of Kitchen. Exotic trying to also lock down that last player, as this next hit's going to have to come from down low.
Well, big spread here defensively for HYXR, but they're able to get the kill so convincingly because of it. Team Zed can't find really any success at all, not just on the break, but also really no influence to even block spawns. Proto picking things up right underneath the hoop, able to find himself another elimination. He's on 2 in a row, 14-4. Gets enough damage to allow him to get some assist points in the mix. And again, Team Zed, 20 seconds left. You really can't commit to going for this time. That's nearly a full 60 for HYXR.
Your saving grace here is Tay getting streaks. That is your saving grace. He's going to have discipline. Doesn't take shots at the first one. Just barely escapes with his life. Looking to see if he can get 7. That should be the key for that first streak here for himself. Just going to position inside of Kitchen. He's got to be communicating to his teammates. Listen, I'm 1 off. I am 1 off, and Proto doesn't allow him to get streaks. So Team Zed, they find themselves inside the point. Zed doing a good job of zoning off a lot of these players on the entries, but Mayhem, well, he comes right in and says, I'll break that setup. He opens up with 2, and well, HYXR find themselves right back in the point, but can they hold on?
So far, so good. 2-for-1 exchange, but there is still some negotiating to happen here. Good help from Zinx from above. He finds 1 kill. Make sure that Exotic stays relatively safe from the water stairs, and yeah, he'll actually lock down a second. So now a really strong setup for HYXR in this back 30 seconds. You're forcing Team Zed to spawn top left in basketball, which is not what you want, but Jerd just walks in for 2, wants to maybe get a third. Proto trying to keep his life. Has gotten away from the initial fire, but not going to be good for the full wipe. Jerd on 3. And that's going to be good for a break of the back 15 seconds.
Back 15, we turn our attention towards the resets and a couple white arrows set up, but you got a pinch coming in from behind. Everyone's collapsing here from HYXR. And I mean, you would have to go absolutely mammoth. And that shouldn't happen unless we see Dens get 3, but okay, Dens, it will happen.
Unreal.
Makes me bite my tongue, and he is still going here for himself. He's got an excellent power position inside of Rock, just trying to play this garden area while his teammates are doing a good job of sitting inside of the time itself, trying to play for everything they could possibly get. Mayhem and Zinx will work for that first kill, though. Exotic finds no value on that pinch. Good read here from Jerd, but finally the ARs start to fall, and Jerd's forced to try and go big.
This is a big moment in the match overall here for Team Zed. You do not want to give away this back 30 seconds, but you also do not want to give away the spawns for P2. You're going to be down by over 100 points here. They have to concede the back 20 because, again, you lose this rotation to P2, you pretty much lose the game. And, well, careful here. Zed is actually spawned away. He's number 1 in your minimap. He's going to have to hit through Art, and he's going to get cut. Goodness, okay. Almost didn't, but where does he spawn here? I figured he's going to keep spawning Garage. This is not good for Team Zed. Higher can win this rotation just with a couple of eliminations here in the next couple of seconds. The hit from the front, not going to be good. The hit from the back, going to be met by Dens. We go 2 for 2 for now. And even though Higher is currently in the hard point, they have not convincingly won the spawn. So Team Zed are holding on, but just by a thread.
Yeah, last time Team Zed actually had a hard time securing time. They did a good job of brawling and battling out, winning gunfights, but they've been collapsed on, and we'll see Higher just make their way back in towards the point. Can Jerd go big? Has a gunfight in front of him, gets a bit of assistance. It will be Proto, last one left alive. Everyone collapsing in and around, and Team Zed will do good on that second attempt. This is a big 30 seconds for them, and they already have player number 4, Dens. He's making that early rotation, so if you can stop Higher from getting the scrap time, and Dens maybe finds a couple of kills here as he finds that first one, this could be really good for Team Zed to start racking up some time.
Every kill for Team Zed equals a Higher spawn out. This is incredible. I mean, they've done a really nice job here. Yeah, they're going to walk away with about 45 total seconds with the time generated on P2, but like you mentioned, they're in a position to potentially win this rotation to 3. Higher on their approach coming forward. 2 through the gymnasium, 2 from Jim. It's going to be the only thing that's left. Zinx works his way through. Den's trying to stay alive, going to be unsuccessful, and Higher will be the first ones in, but a late truck explosion takes down Zinx. And now there's a numbers advantage for Team Zed on this potential break. Semtex finds a lot of damage. Able to take down Proto from the side. To the pistol. Zinx and Kazadik trying to hold on. That's going to be Dens for 1, but not a second. And Higher, they're going to win the hard point here. 30 seconds to play for.
Mayhem's 3-piece, I mean, it's just so important because you see now, Team Zed, they want to contest this time. They can't allow a big 30 seconds to go over here. It could very well cost them the game. You could just fight for scrap time, and Tay wants to make that big 1v2 happen, but Zinx will not allow him to do so. Higher now a chance to be able to also play for these rotations, as we'll see Dens actually come through. He keeps them off the time for the last 10 seconds. That's actually a pretty big play because we do see all these white arrows. They are set up inside of basketball, but Alan, I mean, we talk about perfect hardpoint having to be played. It has to be now. Can Zed find 2? He can't. Exotic opens up the point as he finds the double.
And he's going to get a regen here. Tries to make the play off of Jerd, but he chased down the kill successfully. Going to get one more. George just at 14 and 22, but all of that negativity that would surround that KD could be nixed right here if they can go big towards this back staircase. Higher, they are playing this very passively. They're trying to pick up a pinch, 2 from the back stairs, 2 from the front. Exotic trying to clear out Tiki. Able to find the first. Will be traded. Dens there for that kill. Jerd and Zed watching the back, and they've done so very successfully. A full 4-man wipe. That's going to push them probably over and above the 160 mark as Higher's going to set themselves up for what will hopefully for them be a P5 win.
Higher need to just slow things down here for a moment. Just take a breath, slow down on the comms, and get prepared to just grab these last 30 seconds. That's all you need to close this one out. It seems Zed, they're the ones with the weight all on their shoulders to find these kills. Dens, he gets unfortunate timing. Trade there for Tay. Can he find the double up? Nope. Proto is good for the kill. Jerd now looking to make a desperation play, and Exotic shuts it all down. This is looking much better for Higher. They're now in a position where they can absolutely win it here. You need a break for Team Zed on this hit.
They've got the proper setup for a break. They've got ring control. It's exactly what you want, but can you get the kills onto the hard point? That's the real question. Proto and Exotic are able to lock things up with a little bit of help from Zinx. Now it's just down to a desperate hit. No one's going to get there in time, and we will see a map 5. It's going to go to the Moscow Search and Destroy after Higher fight a 250 to 161 win here.
A lot of plays. Mayhem here. I think this is his triple that we get, and he's just able to snap for 2, finds that third, and I mean, maybe he goes on for more as we see the final cam kind of extend for us. So, I mean, this was the play, because if Team Z get this break here, I mean, this is where we see HYXR maybe not get as many points to be able to close things out on P5 like we just saw. So big individual step up play when it matters most. Mayhem able to deliver here for his squad. And that will send us to a map 5, Alan. We go to Moscow as well. And you now probably regained quite a bit here for the side of HYXR. You came off of a 6-0. Maybe Team Z got to review and say, okay, this is what these guys were kind of doing. They're playing a lot of these mind games. We got to make sure we're not over-rotating. But I still feel like if you play your game here for HYXR, you're in an excellent position to still grab this series win.
It's not just the fact that they get the 6-0 versus Mr. Midmaps, where we were kind of talking back and forth, and I was like, someone needs to get Mr. Midmaps an Atlas or a GPS, because they were getting absolutely thrown around the map, completely lost. But you also have to remember that this is a HYXR team that won 6-3 versus Maki Maki, 6-4 versus Built by Gamers, and they went around 10 in a loss, unfortunately, versus the New York Subliners Academy team. So this is the map that they want. They had to have been their map pick. The rest of their search and destroys, both on Raid and Garrison, have been unsuccessful for them. The only success they've had in search has been on this map.
Right.
And we already talked about for Team Z, the only search and destroy map that they had played up until this series was Miami. So are they going to be prepared versus a HYXR team that looked great on here yesterday? I'm not feeling all that hopeful. But again, we have to remember the simple fact that Team Z is a very strong search and destroy squad. And we were proved that just about 45 minutes ago when they played that map 2, where they won 3 rounds in a row on the raid search and destroy for map 2. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to give a full temperature reading as far as where this is kind of leaning to right now, because there's a lot of recent success for HYXR in this match, but in this specific best of 5, Team Z were able to put together an incredible comeback on raid.
I mean, I think there is a lot of preset nades, a lot of opening strategies and things like this that I think is really good for HYXR that we have seen now across a couple of maps. So I think there has been more practice put into search and destroy as of recently. And as much as we talk about Team Z, having a lot of success, they did not look too good in that map number 2 until we got about halfway through and they were forced to start to ice out. Those are still a lot of positions where they were not in control of the situation. They had to go big in these 1v odd situations or these 2v3s or whatever it is. So we'll see if they will be able to come out a bit stronger off the start for us, because ladies and gents, we got ourselves map 5, Team Z and HYXR going head to head. It's been an absolute war, but only one's going to come out on top, and we'll see Tay get into that first engagement in towards the middle of the map. Can he catch Proto on the return? He won't be able to, but Zed, he certainly will know where he is.
Jerd finding that kill on the crossover to Zinx means that you got to get out of dodge if you're Proto, and he's lucky to be alive right now. Help has to rotate over as well in the form of Mayhem. So it's going to be a 2-1 split defensively here for HYXR, and Team Z, after finding that kill and that information in the middle of the map, they're going to sit there and say, let's commit to going over to A, where the only defensive player is Exotic. He's playing just in the backside of bricks. It's going to be difficult for him to read this, let alone respond to all the numbers that are coming. But as he pushes forward, he sees Tay, finds the kill, gets a low A. He's got Mayhem here for a little bit of help, but this friendly nade will actually take him down, but the damage has been dealt. It's going to go to a 1v1, Dens versus Proto, as Dens should get this bomb down without contest.
Proto, the timing here could be everything. We should just be able to get the gun. Oh! Okay, no, we can't. No, we can't. Dens, all right, man. We'll get to see this from his POV, and I want to, because he's got a split second to drop this bomb, pop up, win this gunfight. Proto, I thought he was good for it, but he certainly is not.
What in the world? I mean, that was his best chance at finding the post-plan exit. Half a second earlier, maybe you could make that argument, but let's be honest. That was by far the best chance he would have had, one way or the other. And Dead's putting him down is a huge start for Team Z. And I think it's not just the fact that they win the round, but how they win it. They're able to isolate Proto and Zinx mid-map. Really good stuff, but now HYXR on their offensive hit. Gonna get aggressive as they're trying to move right to A. The defense is sending both Zed and Jert around the back through gold, but they've already lost one player on this A site.
Jerd coming through with Zed. Wins that first initial gunfight. And I like this now as they're just going to try and work with the clock, see if they can let everyone collapse at the same time in this 3v3. You got Exotic, who's been playing around this pillar, and he showed us exactly what he can do in this position yesterday. Dens finds him, gets the info. Jerd for the middle of the map, looking for that Semtex. Might get the tag, but actually doesn't. It's Zed who was able to find himself Zinx. A big gunfight on top of the bomb. Exotic and Proto both responding, and now it's a 1v1.
Oh, and Exotic, I think he gets the information that, hey, he's lit. Just move on forward. Please get to this kill. Do not allow him an opportunity to get that regen off. And it pans out. And this play from Exotic opening up the backside of yellow is incredible. Not only for finding the first, but he's obviously able to repinch and then take down Zed. No problem with the last shot required to get the elimination. So aggression there from Higher. And initially, you were kind of looking at Team Zed's long play through the back and said, this is their success. But the problem was that the players in the front of the A site couldn't stay alive long enough to let that flank really kind of flesh itself out.
1-1 we go. Offense looking good here for both of these squads. And, well, lo and behold, we're back towards A. Zed looks to be one of the first guys in towards Eskies. Exotic, couple preset nades and stuns coming into play. They get the information. It's Proto who is going to be able to play his life. Challenge there from Zed. Crucial. Able to find Mayhem, but Exotic, I mean, he just fires through that wall. He finds the kill, and well, with Proto also finding, unfortunately, a teammate and a kill. It's going to leave Tay all alone. He has the bomb. He's wrapping it around. This could be good timing for the first kill, and it is. He's now up against Exotic in another 1v1.
And Exotic's going to play this one patiently. And rightfully so as well. He's in a really good position just outside bricks. Tay trying to clear space, but there are so many angles he has to check. The snapper. Oh! Exotic almost had bad right there. Oh my goodness.
Oh, I'm not sure. I mean, I thought that was the freest kill ever. I mean, it really was not, I guess. I want to say Exotic only had so many bullets in his clip, and he didn't want to pop a reload with Tay maybe making his way inside of lobby, getting that little sound cue here for himself, decides just to hold his life, and it gets a little dicey, but still able to win it out. That's also first defensive round goes over. Higher holds strong. Higher with, or rather Exotic with another big one-on-one here. That puts him on a few in a row here for us, Alan. Potential streaks already coming in pretty early if Exotic can find just a couple more kills and work up to it.
Different lookout for Higher. Still aggressive, but I want to say that Tay has read this. Yeah, he has. He's seen numbers that he's going to rotate over. Defensively, there will be a couple of members leaving the A site to help for this. But Tay with an SMG, he actually can't contest the street. So this is going to have to be a retake through the apartment windows and doorways. And the good news here for Team Zed was that they also found a kill on the other side of the map. So now you know that all the pressure is from the front. Den's able to find one kill. This is a 4v2. And Higher are going to try to play this a little bit split. Mayhem's going to watch one side, and Proto's going to hit the opposite flank. Wow.
New big gunfights here. Mayhem doesn't want to take that one. Not interested, and this is going to limit what he's able to do. I mean, he knows they're out of the bomb here. He gets info on Jared, and just bad timing. Now it's alt to Proto. It does make the rat play happen. I mean, he could get here, and he could stop this defuse from going through, but he'd have to find a double.
Yeah.
Tay, no chance. Not going to let him even get towards some shots on towards the bomb diffuser, and we'll get ourselves an offense with an offense and a defense matched with the defense.
I'm actually a big fan of this play, though, from Higher. It's a desperate time calling for desperate measure play. When you're in a 2v4 like that, losing your kind of your lurker over towards the opposite bomb site. So what do? You have to try to stick yourself in, get the bomb planted, hope that you can work a 3v4. Obviously, they try to push through the bus side of Boulevard. That was unsuccessful. So in a 2v4 situation, you're just got to essentially kill the clock. The clock has to be your allies. So Mayhem tries to stay alive for as long as possible. You're trying to make a full wrap, come around the back, get a couple of kills, and continue to kind of toggle on that post plant where you just have to try to find the kill on the player who might be diffusing. So it's a tough situation. I like the attempt, but there's no bonus points on the scoreboard for creativity and attempts.
I've seen Zinx play this position quite often here for Higher on this map. This is the island player. And, I mean, that slide, yeah, I think he's going to know there's another one close by. Oh, Zinx gets pretty close on that engagement. 30 HP here for Jerd. Needs to try and slow down for a moment, make sure no one's going to cut him on the cross. And the bomb has not dedicated to one side or the other. You can see player 3 there, Tay. He is simply just hovering the middle, trying to play for information. You have players on either side also trying to see exactly where they're looking to line up this hit.
Well, decision's going to have to be made. 35 seconds, and it is going to go to B. Mayhem is actually going to play inside the bomb site. He finds the information. Can he stay alive is the real question here. Needs to wait for regen. Just barely gets out, and he actually avoids the player nearby. So now the challenge over towards the street side. Jerd good for the kill. Time becoming a problem. Proto sees the weapon, takes the peek, finds one, but Jerd there for the trade. Bomb will be planted, but can they get away? Exotic over the top. Not a great gunfight for him. Backs down, and we'll reassess how he wants to make this play happen.
Big plays from Exotic throughout this entire series. Can he do it again here for us? Both players on the street. Exotic, he finds that first one. Now a 1v1. Tay, the young gun. Does he have it in him? No, he doesn't. Exotic just beams him, comes away with the 1v2, and makes sure Hire is still in control of this map 5.
One, the gunfight is that if you're Exotic. The first one, sure, but doesn't miss a bullet on the second challenge hug in a corner. He's 7-1, by the way. I mean, and this is absolutely unreal. You also talk about the fact that he doesn't mantle through the window. There's no sound cue for that. But this chow, little slide cancel past the bus stop. Unbelievable play from Exotic. Unreal. Absolutely unreal.
It's just those plays, man. Exotic, he's just been so good for us. He's been so talented. 7-1, finally starting to get a feel for Cold War at the highest level. And he is delivering here for us in map number 5. Hire with a chance to maybe even pull up by another one here on the attack. Will be matched with every single player. So it's going to be a brawl 4-on-4. Engagement shots going out. Jerd can't get that Semtex to connect, but does destroy the trophy, throws the trophy down for himself. And I think this is now realized from Hire saying, hey, I think the majority of the players are here. Let's just make a rotation.
Does Dens read this? Yeah, it looks like he is. He's playing that topside little yellow hut. Zed is rotated over, but the bomb is going to be planted, and you've got a long trail from Zinx to try to watch this back flank while the other 3 members for Hire just kind of stack up inside the apartment complex. This is a tough retake for Team Zed. They're going to try to make it happen through the courtyard. Dens will read Exotic outer, and then number 5 and number 2. This is a big kill coming through, and Jerd finds there's now an opportunity for Team Zed to move quickly. Exotic, though, goes 1 for 1. 3v2 situation, still favoring Team Zed, but they need to find a successful retake in Mayhem. Able to even up the numbers. Zed, good for 1. Help coming out. Berto stays alive. Looks for the challenge. Wins the gunfight. 10 seconds. Not enough time for a defuse. Zed didn't stick it. And there will be round number 4 for Hire. Oh, man, what a search.
2 1v2 clutches, man. 2 1v2 clutches. I want to know how many 1v2 clutches there's been throughout both S&Ds, because it feels like both teams here for us have been able to really bring home a lot of these situations. And this is just an interesting play because Hire are just forced to kind of just tuck themselves away in corners and hope the gunfights come to them because there's this 2v3. And Zed, a very interesting moment. You know, he's able to take away 1, but Proto escaping with his life, knowing that there's only about 15 seconds left on that clock. Someone's got to hop on the bomb, and he just needs to win that player who's going to be trying to play defense. Doesn't happen. Hire come away with back-to-back rounds, and Exotic is 8-2 right now here for us, Alan. I mean, this is really one of the reasons they're able to stay in control of this game. But it's going to have to be Team Zed. They got to find some offensive success.
This is a bait hit. 3 players going to A, but the bomb is not with this hit. They're just looking for a gunfight through escalators. They don't get gifted it, and Zink's playing the cutout in mid. Finds 1. Opportunity for a second. Unbelievable response from Zinks. But there is still a 2-for-2 exchange. Mayhem now taking the mantle up top, making sure nobody rotates over to B, and he's successfully stopped this rotation in its tracks as Exotic will push through and maybe try to flank through gold.
Exotic could get some great timing here.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at where Mayhem is. He's giving information. Hey, I don't think they're by B right now. Exotic, will he decide to make the move to actually make his way over towards it? They're going to know now for sure. Both players are here. Bomb goes down. Exotic quick on what could be this pinch play to work out for this first kill. Dens, though, he's about to put himself up on the heady here on Bricks, and this is a tough gunfight to win, but he's now grouped up with Mayhem, looking for that first engagement. Exotic takes some shots to get the information, doesn't bring home the kill. Now they know where both players are. They just need to move in and find the kills. Team Zed trying to finesse. 20 seconds left on this clock. Mayhem finds that first one, and now it's going to be all up to Tay.
1v2, trying to kill off the clock. The double shell comes through, and Exotic finds the kill in the nick of time. That'll be the defuse and Hire on match point, 5-2 up, but we've nearly seen this story unfold once before. And these rounds have been really, really tight. I'm not going to lie. Initially, Exotic throwing that Semtex from the flank, I didn't love because it gives away his position where nobody knew where he was. But him and Mayhem work it properly together. But it's this play from Ziggs. He finds the first, reads the second as well. And it's Dens who gets the trade, but finding those 2 kills is more than required from Zing. So he's done his job and then some. He's working overtime to the middle of the map.
And it's not even like anyone on Team Zed's, really playing poorly at the moment. It's just the simple fact that a lot of these rounds have come down to 1v1s or 1v2s. And it just has more often than not gone the way of Hire so far for us. But that can't happen for Team Zed anymore. If they're going to come away with this series win, they got to find 4 straight. And it starts with this defense. Zed already posted up, waiting for that initial push through. And this is going to be the peak. Oh, that's a lot of members on your screen. Zed luckily gets away with 1 before being traded.
Looked more like HYXR was waiting for an elevator, and there's kind of one of these doors could open more than the escalator here. There's 3 players looking right down Eskies. Got ourselves a 3v3 though. 50 seconds to play. The defense for Team Zed obviously recognizing the number situation. Jerd aggressive. Nobody watched him come out at all, and I think Zinx was just baffled by that fact alone. Jerd finds himself another, and now it's Proto. 1v3 situation. Not a lot of time to play, and more importantly, he's got no bomb.
No bomb. Has to beam Dens right to his right. And, well, he does do it. Finds the kill. 1v2 now, but like you said, bomb is down, and I mean, you have to rip through Jerd, who's also got that Krieg. Might be a window. Almost able to connect for the second, but just a good setup. No 1v3 this time around. Teams had their play for the effective trade, and they'll stay alive.
I mean, Zinx, he just like, wait, what? George, you're just going to chow that? Like,
he was not expecting that.
I mean, I think there was largely a lot of trust. I mean, nobody was watching that initial cross. I think it was just the fact that there's no way someone just chows this. Not with seeing 3 of our teammates previously inside Eskies, but that was the required play. And Jerd opens up the door pretty largely. Again, still just extending this map. And what do you do here for the offense if your Team Zed? It looks like they're going to send all 4 members either in or around gold. And this is going to be an aggressive hit to be Zinx again mid-map. He's not looking at it. He doesn't see a single player cross. This is tragedy for HYXR. Zinx will back away, but all he reads is 1 player shot at me. He doesn't recognize that all the other 3 members for Team Zed are already on the B-bomb site.
And now he's got an important gunfight versus Jerd on the outskirts here on the street. We'll get the information, but doesn't bring home the kill. Everyone here from HYXR now in a position to start to play for the retake. Looks like they want to make their move through the street. Proto is going to be looking for Jerd, but Jerd just repositions. He plays his life, backs up completely. 20 seconds left. No one has gone down. I mean, Exotic going to try and hop on this bomb. Zed from the side is going to be good. Tay waits for the challenge. Zed finds a second. Zinx with no time left on this clock. Not even allowed, and what a play from Team Zed as they'll stay alive still for us, Alan. Now 5-4.
2 major things. The first, obviously, we already mentioned it. The fact that Team Zed sneaked through street just as Zinx is throwing a nade over the top of the middle. But the second, what is the most common retake position? You have to win that street. And as Team Zed start to recognize that HYXR is sending a lot of numbers around the backside of apartments to clear up that front bus, we need to also back away. Just don't give them the opportunity for any kills. Just kill the clock as much as humanly possible. They do so successfully while finding even trades. So, round 10. And HYXR's going to queue up that same 3-1 split they did a couple of rounds ago. Remember, last time they did this, Zinx fell in a 1v1. He's playing super passive through the library to make sure that he stays alive this time.
Jerd does get hit by that flash, and now a second. And he doesn't exactly have the option to reposition. And with that nade coming through, they know exactly where he is. They just need to work for this kill. There is a bit of support coming in. Second nade comes through. Proto will grab the kill, but there's a trade there from Zed. So, I mean, that's best case scenario, as this is actually the bomb carrier. You talk about it here for us, Alan, which means that not only are they going to have to try and work with only 45 seconds left, but also somehow get themselves back towards that position to get the bomb.
The thing about this is this puts a full reset on what's happened to the map. HYXR don't recognize that was the bomb carrier. It's too difficult to make that read. So they are going to rotate back around, make sure that they're stable over towards A in case there was a late rotation, which, to be fair, there was. Zinx, not good for either of the 2 kills that were in front of him. Exotic knows that there's a lot of damage dealt. Does he try to make good on it? He will for a first, but does get backed up. So now you're going to recognize for HYXR that, yes, there are 2 defensive members here over onto the A site. Exotic not going to get the timing versus Tay. Mayhem has to stick for the plant, and he's going to have to play this post-plant 1v2.
Has the sub, and you're almost feeling like you want to make a rat play here. I like this play for Mayhem. He wants to try and juke out exactly what they're thinking. Dens is reading it, but he doesn't read the right angle, and Mayhem doesn't finish off the kill. Needs to also check this bomb, gets the chow, finds that first kill. This could be the 1v2 to close out the series. Trying to wait patiently. Tay will read it, and now HYXR is thinking, not again, Alan, not again, because they were in control. They were up 5-2, but we are going to a second round 11.
Stole the words right out of my mouth. I was about to come in and say, not again, higher. I'm not even going to lie. It was like on the tip of my tongue. I mean, the wrap was great. And again, even that situation for Mayhem, because he's tagged down so low, doesn't find that kill into Dens. I mean, it's a gamble to not even check the bomb at that point. Like, he never saw it. So it's just the decision-making of, I don't know. I have to stay here, guys. I can't do anything. And Tay does find the free kill. He's on 5 straight. And it's going to be a higher offense again. And if I were to be a gamble man, all 4 players hitting A here. Guarantee it. I mean, this is going to be a rush with SMGs. It's been successful for them in the past, but look at Team Z. They're going to meet them.
Boy.
It's going to be all 8 players right through Eskies.
All the engagements about to come through. Exotic, the first man in. Will he find a kill? He does. Proto found the second. Team Z with the response, but they will go down. And oh, man. It ends in a matter of seconds. Higher, they will not choke in this S&D. They will get the dub. They'll close out this 6-5.
That's a mistake from Team Z. It's all 4 players committing, and no one picks up the Eskies push. No one looked at it. I mean, the trophy systems were down. You're denying utility for information, but the only 2 players who pushed through yellow were playing through bricks. That has to mean, and I didn't have a chance to really take a look at where the arrows were looking, but that has to mean that the players inside of yellow were also looking outer. No one was watching escalators whatsoever. That's a tragic mistake for Team Z, and that does result in them falling higher, getting a W, which, again, for both of these teams, doesn't really do much as far as who's going to make the knockout bracket, because both teams are safe. But the big thing was Team Z was in a position to potentially still play for a top 2 seed. That has now gone out the window.
Man, that's probably one of the better series I think we've seen. I mean,
for sure.
I just going back through just about every single map, like it was just so extremely close. And this is really, I think, one of the first series where we just got to see like a lot of individual stand-up plays actually make the difference on what the outcome is of the map. A lot of ice from both sides. We go back to, I think everything besides the hard points, to be fair, because I felt like Higher really had those ones locked up and they were in control without a doubt. But we go back towards, what was the map? Number 2, Jerd, 1v2 clutch, round 11. Make sure that they tie up the series. You go towards the control where both teams had just exceptional plays, looking back on Jerd and Exotic specifically, able to just play that submachine gun roll up close, finding, entries with 2 and 3 kills, things that should not be happening, but somehow are just because they're so extremely talented. It was just an absolute brawl all the way towards the end where we get another, like 1v2 clutch there from Exotic and Proto. And it all ends with a 4v4 push for us on the round 11 towards A, like we typically see the opening rounds almost go from time to time. But a very thrilling series, to say the least, coming through for us. Team Z, however, just not enough in the tank to close things out, and we'll certainly have to look back over those hard points and look to clean some things up.
Now, that's going to be the only match that's on the table for us here this evening for the reschedules from week number 2. This moves Team Z to a 3-2 overall record. Higher moves up to a 4-3 final placing overall. That was their last match they needed to make up. But that is not going to conclude our total coverage of these reschedules. Getting word that tomorrow, the rest of the matches that have largely been missed will be scheduled to go. So tomorrow, starting at 3:00 p.m. Pacific time, UT Crew will be playing up against Built by Gamers. And then a couple hours later, UT Crew will play their next matchup, that one versus Wester at 5:00 p.m. Pacific time. That will also be played simultaneously as Team Z and Maki Maki. And then to finish off the evening, Wester plays up against Team Z, and the New York Subliners Academy roster will be playing up against UT Crew, happening at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. So what does that mean? We're going to be back tomorrow for more, friends. We'll have the solo game at 3:00 Pacific. We'll be trying to do a live look into both of the matchups, not just at 5, but also at 6:30. So everything is going to be happening here on YouTube. I know how difficult it can be to find streams on YouTube. So subscribe now, hit the notification bell so you get a little pop-up as far as, yes, we are live, and it will give you a link to this direct YouTube stream, because just going to youtube.com/IHOLDSHIFT just brings you to the page, doesn't bring you to the live page. So subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned at least for the rest of the evening as far as some announcements, as far as the continuation of this Challenger stream going into tomorrow's reschedule. It's going to be an exciting time. You're not going to want to miss it. Vision's final thoughts for you on this matchup before we send ourselves away.
Oh man, I mean, I felt like I almost laid it all on the table, Alan, during that series. But I mean, it was just a banger. I mean, definitely, like, it feels like I keep saying this week after week, like, oh, the best series I've casted. But I mean, this was a really thrilling one. I felt like I, really, really enjoyed myself. Glad we got to come together. And shout out to the players also letting us come in and actually have the opportunity to be able to cast over them and give them something to kind of look back on for as far as all those hype 1v situations. I'm sure we'll see maybe a couple of those thrown out maybe from the players as we get ourselves throughout the rest of the night. But just a great time all around, Alan. Happy to call this with you, brother.
Again, cool. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 3 Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern is when the reschedules will kick off for tomorrow. And then we've got a weekend to kind of relax ourselves before 7 straight days worth of the Call of Duty League, which is going to be absolutely insane. I'm going to be exhausted trying to watch over all those matches with you guys. Yeah. I'm just going to say that much right now. But for tonight, we're going to say farewell, get out of your hair, and we'll be back with you guys tomorrow evening for more Challengers Elite reschedules. So long.